first. There's 3 ways you could book your Stateboard exam. And mind you, you have to take 2 exams to be able to get your license. You're gonna first take your written exam. First you gotta pay for it, pay for your written exam. And right now the price for your written exam is $55. Once you pay for it, you can go ahead and book your exam date and time, your written exam. Once you pass the written exam, then they'll inform you that you passed and that you're now approved to take your practical exam. And right now the eyelash practical exam is $76. And again, there's 3 ways you can book your exam. The easiest way I would say is just by going online on the TDLR website and type in exams or testing, and then it's going to give you a list of the types of tests, written, practical, for different types of exams. You pick the one you want and then pay for it online. You can also call them. You can call them if you need to take it in Spanish. They have an option to where you can take it in Spanish. You can also mail it, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but you may have your reasons for wanting to mail it, but that's the longest way to do it. It takes the longest amount of time if you mail it. And anytime you're mailing in anything, it's going to take longer. So I recommend either just going online to book your exams or calling them to book the exam. They'll book it for you. If you don't see a date that's close, sometimes they'll have preview of dates that are not available on the website. So that may be another reason why you would opt to call them instead. If you have to reschedule for any reason, they do have a fee. So I think you have 24 hours before the exam. You have to call them at least 24 hours before your exam if you want to reschedule. They also have an option to where I think you can pay $12 and then you can retake it again. You can pay an additional $12 if you miss your exam for any reason, or if you need to reschedule it and you're less than that 24 hours, you can pay the $12 and you could just take it again and they won't charge you. Otherwise, if you miss your exam, then you have to pay all over again. And if you fail your exam, say for instance, if you fail, but face it, we don't fail exams. We pass those exams the first time. But in the weird case that you do fail the exam, you just pay again and take it again until you pass it. But you will lose that fee every time. So you will have to, and the only way that they'll give the money back to you is if you decide to take it in person and the testing site closed down, there's a hurricane or some natural disaster or something happens like that, then of course they'll give you your money back. Also, you have the option of taking it either in person or online. You can take it in person, at home, online. There are a lot of restrictions when you decide to take it in person, at home, or on. You can also take it here at the school, but you have to make sure that your computer is compatible. So you want to check it at least 3 hours before your test date, 3 hours before your test time, to make sure that, because there's a lot of complications that happen when your computer is not compatible, because they have you download this testing thing, some type of testing thing, so they could monitor you and make sure that you're not going into other screens on your computer and things like that. So you want to make sure that your computer, that you can do that. You can't do it on your phone for sure. It has to be the laptop. I think you can do it on a tablet, not exactly sure, but I know you can do it on a laptop as long as it's compatible, and of course a desktop. And you can take it at home, but whenever you take it at home, it has to be quiet. You can't have anybody coming in. You can't mouth anything. Like if you're a mouther, like when you're writing, you're thinking, you can't do that. And you can't like look off into space. They'll stop the test. If you're continuously looking off into space, they'll stop the test for that. They hear noises. They'll ask you to move your hair back so they can check your ears. They'll ask you to show them your glasses inside and out. They'll ask you to show them the palms of your hands. They'll ask you to view the area with your computer screen. And Brianna and Aaliyah, my daughter, they were telling me that they asked them to grab a mirror so that they could see your screen, if you understand what I mean. You know what I mean? Like they told them to grab a mirror so they could look, I guess, to make sure there were no notes on your laptop. So they asked them to have a mirror handy, and also you want to make sure that you're dressed appropriately for the exam. Your school uniform is perfect. You don't want to have anything with cleavage. They will not let you test if you have cleavage or too much skin exposed, because that's also a rule in the TDLR rules book that we're supposed to be dressed professionally even when we're at work. Even though whenever you see a lot of stylists, they're not dressed appropriately. They have open-toed shoes. We're never supposed to have open-toed shoes whenever we're doing services, and that's for hairstylists, nail techs, everybody. Nobody's supposed to have open-toed shoes. Nobody's supposed to have like see-through garments or anything like that. So you want to dress professionally. You also have to have your identification, and your identification has to match what they have on file. So if you're not sure, check your permit that we gave you here. And you can also ask me, check your permit and make sure that your name on your ID matches what's on your permit. If you're gonna go and test in person, they have a lot of different locations in Texas, so you can go online and find a testing site. And you won't be able to have your phone in the same room. If they hear your phone go off, ring, anything, or if they see it, then they're gonna stop the test. So you can't have your phone in the same room. You also can't be in a room where there's writing on the wall, any kind of writing, because they're gonna ask you to slowly turn the camera and visualize what's in the room. So you wanna make sure that you're in a place where there's no writing. And you see, even this writing right here, it would need to be covered up if you were to be in here for some reason testing. There can't be any writing on the wall. Identification. Okay, so we're talking about eyelash specialty exam right now. So other things they have here is no conversations of any form. Proctor will be monitoring. You may not ask the proctor any questions. If you have to use the bathroom, you'll let the proctor know that you need to go use the bathroom, or you'll just leave out. And your test time is going to continue to go while you're in the bathroom. They're not going to stop the test for you. The time is going to continue to go. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so whenever you go in to take your practical exam, there are certain items that they want to be labeled, and there are certain items that they don't want labeled. So items that are required to be labeled are your adhesive holder. These are not required to be labeled. Your adhesive holder should not have a label. Any drapes, like your headband, should not have labels. Gloves, individual eyelashes, specs. So like your acetone glass, your acetone shot glass should not have a label. Your mannequin head, this is a big one, because sometimes, I don't know why students, they end up writing on the mannequin. I don't know why, but they don't want any writing on your mannequin. So be sure that your mannequin has no writing. Mannequin stand, tripod, paper towel, small scissors, tweezers, under eye gel patches. Now the package that it came in is fine as long as you don't add any extra writing. Items that must be labeled are your kit. Here it says 30 by 30 kit. You don't have to have that big of a kit. That's one of those big, those big storage bins. You don't need, this size here is fine, or a little bit bigger. That's fine. You don't have to bring that big storage bin like that. but it must have either pre-sanitized on at least 2 faces of the, so that way whichever way your kit is turned and you're taking it online, if you're taking it online, the proctor will be able to see that it is labeled. So you want to have it on either on 2 faces of the kit at least, and it needs to have either pre-sanitized on it, the word clean on it, or the word disinfected. So this one has disinfected. You could put clean on each side if you want. You could put pre-sanitized on each side. It just has to have one of those 3 on each side. So that's something that has to be labeled. Another thing that has to be labeled is your eyelash adhesive. So your eyelash adhesive, it should have its own label. For some reason, if you've taken it off, then you need to put a label on there that says eyelash adhesive. But the label that comes with it is fine. A blood exposure kit, it needs to have a label. So this is the one we have, and we have it on both sides just in case your bag is turned this way, and well, your bag is turned, say for instance, if you put it on one side and your bag is turned on the side that the label is not on, and you're on camera taking it in person and you're taking it online. So you want to put it on both sides just so that no matter which way that bag is turned, that the proctor can see that this is your biohazard bag. And you can just print this off of Google. And we just got some packing tape and taped it on both sides. So, and you can also use some sticky paper or sticker paper and do it that way. So this has to be labeled with biohazard, and you want it big enough so that there's no question about what this is. Okay. Your first aid kit. So you can make your own first aid kit, or you can buy one from the dollar store. In this kit, we have 2. We have one that's gonna sit on our desk or our table, whatever we're working on. And then we have another one that's in a plastic, just a sandwich bag. So this one is one of our first aid kits, and it just says first aid because we have to have it labeled. We have another one in here somewhere. We have another one, and it's just, again, it's in a sandwich bag, and it just says first aid. Or you could just have the one, either way. Your hand sanitizer has to have a label. The one that comes on it is fine. You don't need to add anything. As long as you didn't like take the label off, it has to have a label that says hand sanitizer. Trash bags. So your trash bags always have to be labeled, and you should have 2 sets of trash bags. So each set of trash bags needs to be labeled, the bag that it comes in at least. Items that they don't want you to bring are brooms, dustpans, covered trash cans, mounted wall clogs, workstations, manicure set. If you're going to be taking it online, you're going to need a workstation. So keep that in mind. This is what they don't want you to bring to the testing center. Another thing that you're going to want to have if you're testing in person, or at home, I'm sorry, you're going to want to have a laundry bin. Or you could use a trash can, but you need to clean it and take out the actual trash bag, because you're not going to throw your things away, but you're going to pretend to throw them away. So I like to just use a laundry basket and just have it there by. And let's see, laundry basket. If you're gonna take it at a testing center, then you're gonna wanna have a trash bag. And you're gonna need to, because they don't want you to bring a laundry bin to the testing center. If you opt to take it at a testing center, you're gonna need a big trash bag, and you're gonna need strong tape, like a duct tape, to keep it on, because remember, you're gonna be dumping all your things in that trash bag. At the end, you're gonna scoop up your trash bag and walk out of the testing center. So you're gonna need a big trash bag because you're gonna end up taping it to the edge of your table, and you're gonna want it to stay there. So you're gonna need strong tape, like a duct tape. Okay. So the entire exam will be 57 minutes for your practical. This is for your practical, 57 minutes. You have 57 minutes. For your written exam, it's 55 minutes, and there's 40 scored items, and you need to get 70% at least correct to pass. There's 4 non-scored items. And the sections for your written exam that they're going to be focusing on are licensing and regulation, which means your TDLR rules book, and infection and control. So your decontamination, you're going to want to know all about that, which you all already do. Eyelash care, then you're going to need to know artificial eyelash application and removal. But now they don't have the removal. They've removed, what is this, 2023? Oh no, this is written. So they are gonna have questions about removal. But we used to have on practical where we had to do a removal. They removed it from the practical, but the questions are still there on the written. So you're gonna wanna know where that patch goes when you're doing a removal versus when you're doing an application. Okay. So let's talk about the kit. So the kit has to remain sanitary the entire time during the test. So each time you take something out of the kit, it has to be closed back up. And you're not going to keep it here on your desk. You can keep it on the floor, or you can keep it over on the table. Either way, as long as you close the lid each time you take something out. Each time you take something out, the lid needs to be closed, or they will take points off for that. So you're gonna have a bag for each section, and the sections that are in the eyelash exam are pre-examination setup and disinfection. That's the first one. The second one is eyelash application, and you want to line your bags up in the order that they're gonna be used. So pre-exam setup, disinfection will go first. Then the next one, eyelash application, that's gonna go second. And I recommend putting her right in between. That way you don't forget to bring her out. So after that, we have blood exposure incident. Eyelash is really easy because you only have the 4 sections. Then your last one is end of examination and disinfection. So you only have 4 bags. And again, you want to line them up in the order that you're going to use them. That way you're not trying to figure out where's this bag, where's that bag. So line them up in that way. And again, I recommend putting her right after your pre-exam and pre-exam setup. Put her behind right there, and then put your other bags in. So now all your bags are set up and ready to go. So let's talk about what's in each bag. So for your pre-exam setup, if you're gonna be testing at the testing center, you're gonna need a big trash bag and duct tape. If you're gonna be testing in person, just grab a laundry basket. Okay. Next thing you're gonna need is EPA. You can write EPA. We know that this means barbicide. We know that barbicide is regulated by EPA. So easy just to put EPA and put it on both sides. That way, no matter what way your bottle is turned, the proctor can see that it's labeled. Then you're gonna have hand sanitizer. So remember, your hand sanitizer has to be labeled. You can have a little one, a big one, whichever. Or spray, you can have a spray sanitizer. I always recommend the big one because it's easier to use. You don't have to pick it up. You can just push it, press it, and you always want them to know what you're doing, and it's easy for them to see that you're you have this bottle and you're pressing it and you're sanitizing both backs and front of your hand. This one you'll have to pick up each time, open it, and they may not know what you're doing initially until they see you moving your hands around. So I always recommend the pump bottle. Then you're gonna wanna have your paper towels. Your paper towels, because these are gonna sit on your desk or your table, your setup the entire time. And each time after you're done with a section, you're gonna disinfect with your Barbicide. Another thing that's gonna sit there the entire time is your first aid kit. It's gonna sit on your desk the whole time, just in case you cut yourself or anything, you poke yourself for some reason. This thing has to always be there. Another thing is your gloves. Your gloves are gonna be in there before you set up, before you start to grab anything out. Go ahead and sanitize and put on your gloves and then start to disinfect. Okay, so that's pre-exam setup. That's your first bag. Okay, also your mannequin. Your mannequin is right after this. And a good rule of thumb is to keep her headband on. That way you don't have to think to put it on, because remember, they take off points if she doesn't have a drape on. She has to be draped through the entire process. The only time you're gonna take the drape off is when you do the blood exposure incident. So she has to be draped the whole time or they're gonna take points off. So easy thing to do is just have her drape on while she's in the kit. That way you don't have to think about it. Next thing is your eyelash application. Okay, so eyelash application, if you're gonna rent our kit here at the school, you can also rent our kit, but keep in mind it will not have your glue in it. So you'll need to bring your own glue. And I also recommend having your own tweezers that you're already comfortable with. Bring at least 2 pairs of tweezers that you're comfortable with. Our kit will not have your glue storage, or your comfortable tweezers. There is a pair of tweezers in our kit, but you may not be comfortable with these. So I recommend bringing your own tweezers. And glue ring. We have 2, we put 2 of each in our kit, just in case one falls on the floor. If something falls on the floor, you'll have 2, so you don't have to reach down and pick it up, because once it hits the floor, it's considered contaminated. So that's why we put 2 in each bag, to make sure that you have enough and you don't have to pick up something that's falling on the floor. So if you're making your own kit, I recommend putting 2 of each thing. Even with your glue, your adhesive, put 2 bottles of glue just in case one gets jammed and you're trying to squeeze and then all of a sudden it splatters everywhere. You can just switch to the other adhesive that you have in your storage. Also, these either some cotton rounds or lint-free wipes, because you're gonna have to demonstrate that you remove the makeup from her. Whenever we remove makeup, we always go from inner to outer. So you're gonna have to demonstrate that you've done that before you start the service. Because remember, we always do a cleanse before we do any service. Next, you're gonna have classic extensions. Do not bring volume extensions. Don't bring it. All you need to apply is 6 extensions. You can do 6 extensions on one eye, or you could do 4 on one eye, 2 on the other, 3 on one eye, 3 on the other. 6 extensions. Don't try to go overboard. Don't try to go crazy. Don't bring volume extensions. Bring your classic extensions, and I recommend a C curl, because it's easy to apply on your mannequin. Her natural eyelashes are already straight. C curl is perfect. Bring 0.15 or higher. Don't bring any volume. Trust me on this. Okay. Also, you're gonna bring your spoolies. We have 2 brushes here. Remember, if you drop one, leave it there on the floor and use your other one. Also, with your gel patches, you're gonna wanna bring 2 gel patches. And also tape. We have tape in here. You may want to bring your own tape. It may work better. We have a tape in here, but we've had it in here a while, so it's pretty old. You can bring your tape. Also, your eyelash holder, your jelly here. You're going to need that. And Also, you're gonna set up your SMA. So you need a paper towel, something single use. I recommend to set up your SMA. And you're good to go. And you're gonna apply 6 extensions. 6. Don't go overboard, don't do anything crazy. They also wanna make sure that you're separating, that you're going through to check at least 4 times for separation. I recommend that you go more than 4 times. Go, and whenever you're separating, you're going through to let them know, I'm separating. Look at me, hey, I'm separating. Okay, so the next one is blood exposure incident. So this is where you're gonna use your biohazard bag. This one should have a pair of gloves. Remember, the first thing we're gonna do during a blood exposure incident is grab our gloves. Number 1 thing you're gonna do first. You should also have a little bitty trash bag, a small trash bag, because you're gonna use it to put it in here, because remember, with every blood exposure incident, we double bag. That's key. They need to see that you're double bagging, and this is the easiest way to do it. Next, you're gonna have something to set up your SMA, because we always set up SMA, and we're not gonna have blood everywhere, because remember, we're gonna pretend that she has a gash or cut or in her forehead, and she has blood splattering everywhere. So we need to set up to make sure that we're not contaminating everything around us. So you're gonna set up your SMA, and you need to have something to apply pressure. Key, fold it twice, so that way you don't get these two mixed up. This one is folded twice, and you fold it. This one is folded twice. This one is not. This one is for your SMA. So you fold it twice so you can remember, okay, this one is folded twice. This one is the one I'm going to use to apply pressure. Trust me on this. Trust me. Okay. Then you're going to have an antiseptic. Why? Because we use an antiseptic for a cut, right? Then you're going to have a bandage. You're going to have a bandage because she's been cut. We're going to apply pressure. We're going to use our antiseptic, and then we're going to bandage her up. Okay. Now the easiest section of the practical exam is the end of decontamination, end of disinfection and decontamination. This is the easiest section. So here you're gonna have your gloves and a paper towel. That's it. This is why eyelash is so easy. Nobody should ever fail it. So that's everything you're gonna need in your kit. So now I'm gonna put it on YouTube, the school's YouTube page that I just made, so that
we have a YouTube page.
Yeah. So that way y'all can go and y'all can practice at home too. So y'all can see it, and you can just practice at home. And okay, so let's talk about it. What is first? Blood exposure. Okay, can you start again?
Oh, I don't know. Like press record. There's stop and then there's pause.
So now I'm gonna put it on YouTube, the school's YouTube page that I just made. So that
we have a YouTube page.
Yeah. So that way y'all can go and y'all can practice at home too. So y'all can see it, and you can just practice at home. And okay, so let's talk about it. What is first? Blood exposure. Okay, can you start again?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so now we're gonna go over the practical exam. And again, you can get this same packet on TDLR's website under TSI testing or examinations. If you type it in the search, you can get this same packet I have here. It has all the information for your exam, and I definitely recommend going to get it. It even tells you exactly what they're gonna say during the exam. So this is what the proctor is gonna read off before your exam starts. The following information will be used by examiners to grade your performance during the practical examination. All procedure criteria must be performed in the order listed for the candidate to receive points for the task. Don't begin any procedures until the instructors for each section of the examination are read and you have been instructed to begin. It is not necessary to perform additional or altered steps, tasks not listed below, items not listed below, or not rated during the examination. Candidates must step back and raise their hand at the end of each section, indicating completion. So basically, do not start until you hear "you may begin," because they're gonna read off and then you'll think, okay, it's time for me to start. Do not start until you hear the words "you may begin." Once you're done with any section, say for instance, there's other people testing along with you, you're gonna raise your hand. When you're done, raise your hand. The proctor will come over, check, and give you a thumbs up or a nod if you're in person, or if you're taking it online, it's the same thing. You're gonna raise your hand. So candidate beginning general instructions to be read after all candidates have been checked in and the rater and candidates are ready to begin. Welcome to PSI. Congratulations on passing your written examination. The proctor for this session will read the instructions, keep time for each section, and can only answer general questions that do not direct or instruct you in any way concerning this examination. The raters are responsible for observing and rating your skills performance and are not allowed to converse with candidates except to provide a general salutation. Once the examination begins, you may place all of your supplies in your assigned workstation. You may not observe the work of other candidates. Please do not speak to or assist other candidates during the examination. While you may use the restroom during the examination, please keep in mind that the time will continue to elapse and any instructions you miss will not be repeated. Only one candidate at a time may leave, so please return as quickly as possible. Does anyone have any questions about the instructions I have just read to you? So this is what they're gonna read word for word here. The first section is pre-examination setup and disinfection. You have 10 minutes to unpack your general supplies and prepare your work area. You will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. You may begin. Okay, so that's when you're gonna start. So that's when you're gonna grab your kit. I recommend standing up during this part. First thing you wanna do is put on your gloves. So take your bag out, close it. Your bag here, grab your gloves. You're gonna put your gloves on. I'm pretending that I'm putting them on. I'm putting my gloves on here. Let's open our our bin. Take out your EPA. So I have my gloves on. I'm taking out my EPA or my barbicide. If you're gonna be in the testing center, you're gonna be setting up this trash bag here. You're gonna take out one paper towel. Remember, I have my gloves on. Let's set this aside. Of course, you can't have any notes. Let's set that aside. First thing we're gonna do is disinfect our table. Fold here, spray it again. You can have the real thing, you can have water, you can have mop. I recommend a blue bottle. That way it's more realistic. You're gonna wipe down your chair. Okay, so then you're gonna put everything else in there. You're gonna take off your gloves, dump your gloves in here. Now it's time to bring out your sanitizer. Sanitize your hands, because every time we throw something in the trash, we need to sanitize our hands. This is gonna stay on our desk or table. That's gonna stay on our desk or table, along with our first aid kit. Along with our paper towels here. So all this stuff is gonna stay on our table here. So I like to try to keep it as neat as possible, but when you're doing this, you don't have to just dump everything in the trash can. I'm just gonna put this back in here. But when you're moving around, just make sure that you have everything that you need to have. Think about everything you need to think of. And before you raise your hand, make sure that you've done everything on that list. So last thing you want to do in this section, sanitize your hands, both front and back. And remember, every time you throw something in the trash, you're gonna sanitize your hands, front and back. Once you're done, you're just gonna raise your hand. The proctor will come over and check, or they will most likely have been watching you during that process, and they'll give you a nod, a thumbs up, or something like that. That's the first section. Easy. Very, very easy. You're just setting up, disinfecting, all that. So the next section here is your, oh, and another thing is, make sure that once the proctor tells you you have a certain amount of minutes, and then that section will be done, they'll say something like, candidates, you have 5 minutes remaining. You want to make sure that you stop when they say stop. So then they'll say, candidates, please stop working. Don't do anything. Don't touch anything. Stop where you are. Don't disinfect. Don't collect $200. Don't pass go. Just stop right there. Okay? Because if you continue to work, they're going to fill that section. And you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next section, which is eyelash extension application service. So this section, again, we're gonna grab our kit. We've already disinfected. We're gonna bring our lady out here, and we're gonna bring our next bag here, which is eyelash application. And we didn't start until they said you may begin. Keep that in mind. So eyelash application service here. We're gonna set up our SMA. Make sure you set it up correctly, the way you've been taught to set it up. Have my gel patch. Have my sticky here. Set it on this side. I have my lash brush. I have some lint-free wipes here, and I have my extensions, my tweezers, my glue ring, and my tape, and also my adhesive that will not come in the school's kit. Okay, so again, what they're looking for here is they want to see that you're gonna cleanse before you start. Pretend that she has makeup on. So first thing, before we touch her, we're gonna sanitize. Every time before we touch her, we're gonna sanitize. Okay, go ahead and set up your adhesive. Now we're gonna go in, we're gonna analyze her natural eyelash. Take our lint-free cotton pad or makeup remover, whatever we're using. We're gonna go in from the inner corner to the outer corner. I recommend not throwing things away, because remember, every time you throw something away, you're gonna have to sanitize. So you can keep it here and throw everything away at the end. Then you're gonna go in, you're gonna actually put the gel patches on. They wanna see that this inner corner, the smaller end is in the inner corner and the wider end is in the outer, and that it's 2 millimeters away, 1 to 2 millimeters away. So you're gonna take it out, you're gonna apply your gel patch with your tape. Apply your gel patch using your tape, right? Put that in there. And now we're gonna brush her naturals. We're gonna set our extensions on our jelly over here. Put that up, because remember, all this stuff is just gonna go in your trash bin or your laundry bin. Grab a glue ring. Now we're gonna apply 6 extensions. Okay. However you want to do it, 2 on this side, 4 over here, 3 over here, 3 over here, 1 over here, 5 over here, whatever you want to do. However you want to do it, just do 6 classic extensions. Remember to have your gap, your 1 millimeter gap. Remember to keep that in mind, okay? So once you've done your 6 extensions, go in, check brush. Now we're gonna go in and check for separation. Make sure that you're doing it where they know that you're checking for separation. Lean in. Do an extra one if you need to, just to make sure they're paying attention, because they may be moving around looking at other testers. So you want to make sure that they know that you've done the 4 checks. Once you've done that, you can start putting some of your things away, not everything. Okay, so then once you're done, you've already done all your checks, everything is good, you're okay with the way everything looks. So then you're gonna raise your hand. The proctor will come over and check your mannequin, or you may have to bring it close to the camera so they can see it. Once they give you the nod, okay, thumbs up, something, then you can start to break down things. You're gonna disinfect. Remember, you're gonna disinfect after every section. She's gonna stay there. Do not throw her away, because one student told me that she threw her doll in the trash. Remember not to throw her away. So we're gonna disinfect, because we're preparing for the next section. Lift things up when you disinfect. Lift things up whenever you're disinfecting. Okay, so we're gonna pretend to throw that away. I'm just gonna keep it in order in here, but naturally you're gonna throw it in the trash. Okay, seal that back up. Okay, now we're waiting for the next section to be called. Okay, so our next section is blood exposure incident service. Okay, so when the proctor calls this service, they're gonna say, "You may begin." That's when you're gonna grab your kit. Sanitize whenever you're in doubt, whenever you need to think about something, sanitize just to think. They're just gonna think that you're just a clean freak. Okay, germaphobe. You're thinking, what are the steps? What are the steps again? Just sanitize whenever you're in doubt. Just sanitize. Okay? So we're gonna grab our blood exposure incident bag, take everything out of there. They can see that this is our blood exposure bag. You can hold it up, that way they can see it. You're gonna set up using the mini trash bag that you have in here. Not a big one, a mini trash bag. This is our double bag. This is the first bag, this is the second bag. This is the easiest way I could come up with this, and it works. Okay, so just fold it out. It's a good idea to have a bag that's a different color, or a colorful bag. That way they can see your blood exposure and they can see that you double bagged here. So we're just gonna leave this open on our desk here. Put that in there. Oh yeah, we'll put it in here. Okay, and then we're gonna set up our SMA. Set up your SMA here. Set it up in the order that you're gonna use things. We have our glove. So remember, you just stabbed her with your tweezers. We're gonna sanitize. First thing we're gonna do is put our gloves on. I'm gonna pretend that I just put my gloves on, right? My gloves are on. My gloves are on, they have to be on. Now that my gloves are on, I'm gonna remove the headband. Remember, it's drenched in blood, so I'm not gonna do something like that, because remember, that's splashing blood everywhere. So you're not gonna do that. You're gonna take it off really simple, really easy, because it's drenched in blood. Put it in your double bag. Now we're gonna grab our paper towel that was folded twice. We're gonna apply pressure. Let the proctor know you're applying pressure. Look at me. I'm applying pressure. I'm applying pressure. Don't do this. Because it's like, okay, you're applying pressure. You're making sure to stop the bleeding. Okay? Now that we've stopped the bleeding, we're gonna grab our antiseptic. White. Bandage. She should have a bandage on her forehead at the end of this service. Okay, once you've bandaged her up, then put everything in your blood exposure bag. Close it up, zip it up. Then you're gonna take your gloves off, put your gloves in there, and then you're gonna raise your hand. I was trying to think. Raise your hand and sanitize your hand. Sanitize your hand before you raise it. Sanitize. After you take off your gloves, sanitize your hand, then raise your hand. Okay? Proctor gives you a nod, okay, thumbs up, you're good. Okay? So then, once you're done, you're gonna dump her in the trash. Okay? So we're gonna disinfect again. Disinfect everything and pretend we're dumping this in the trash. Okay, so now we're gonna sanitize our hands and we're gonna wait for the next section to be called. Now we're moving on to our last section, the easiest section of all. End of examination disinfection. Easiest service of all. Proctor says you may begin. Grab our last bag here. Sanitize. Okay, here we're gonna put on our gloves. We put our gloves on here. All of our gloves are on. Everything's good with that. Gloves are on. Let's go ahead and put this up. Put this up. Take out one paper towel. And we're gonna that in there. Disinfect our bottle, all that. Put that in there. You can get a little bit out before you dump it in the trash. Have my sanitizer. Once you're done, raise your hand. Oh, take off the gloves. The gloves are off. So you're gonna raise your hand. Easy, greasy, peasy. So that's it. That's the end. Hey, thank y'all for watching.